You got to budget your time too.
Yeah.
Well, now I have these 2 books coming out next year, so now I have to think about the other side of things, which a lot of artists don't think about, is promotion and marketing. Which is, like, oh, now I gotta think of how do I get the word out and get my friends to support, buy the book, buy this and that, So that's another thing it's actually probably more than half the battle. You finish it, that's the first half. Second half is, okay, now I gotta get it out, especially when you're dealing with an actual publisher now. It's not just I can put it online and, I can leave it there. Now the publisher expects in some way for you to help out and promote the book and get it sold. And if you're thinking of a career as somebody who's consistently, selling work and things like that, you got to think about the selling part and the marketing part, or else your next publisher, or you probably won't get picked up if they see, oh, this guy's not doing anything.
Yeah.
So you got, they got my back getting it printed and everything. Now I have to, have their back and getting it promoted. So that's another part that's probably going to take up more of my next year.
The publisher that you're through is One Piece?
Yeah, it's One Piece Publishing. They're huge in Japan, actually. They do a lot of manga books.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah. So, and they, the good thing about them is they have my books going to be on Barnes & Noble. It's going to be on Amazon. So it's going to be actually hitting shelves instead of, some other smaller publishers, which they won't get you that kind of exposure. So
wow.
That's a big thing.
Ken.
Yeah,
that's great.
You. Yeah, so now I got okay, now what do? I got to schedule, book launch, party, and all these different things. There's a lot of different things that go into
podcast appearances.
A yacht, a jet, a yacht.
So gosh. I got to start thinking about that, and it doesn't even launch until, February, March of next year. So
that's what the books, it takes so long, just the production of it. And I've been griping about how slow Bill Plimpton is with his animation.
He's actually very fast.
But yeah, I know that the books, as fast as you draw them, and then then it goes into the
right.
You wait for all the promotions.
There's one that I worked on earlier this year, and they were hoping to get it released for Mother's Day this year. But then, since everything was so tight in the schedule, they're like, okay, we'll push it back to Mother's Day next year.
Wow.
So we're going to wait. Yeah, so just wait. And then,
wow.
Hey, Ken, I'm just curious, what size paper do you work on?
I think I just work on, I have, 11 by 14?
Okay.
For my, for that style of the one that you saw, the stumps. I don't fill it all the way. I just kind of crop a little bit into the center of the page, and So,
and do you use microns or something? Because your line's tiny. That's great.
That's what I used for that one.
Yeah, Jim. When you get a chance, check out rabbleboy.com. And Ken's got actually got that's his website, and he's got some tutorials type videos.
Writing this down as we speak.
Yep, rabbleboy.com. I'm going to share my screen. Conversation.
He said it was hotteencheerleaders.com. Okay.
That's the other one.
Not Rebel Boy. Rabble Boy.
Rabble Boy.
Yep,
now this is this the Edward Gorey book?
Yes.
That's the Edward Gorey that I sent you. Just for reference so you can see.
And you got to say what you're looking at for the audio podcast, Paul.
Oh yeah, I'm looking at an Edward Gorey book, folks, which is just a very distinct style. And
now we're looking at pictures of Paul in his underwear on an ATV. Okay, that's good.
Now let me find the. Okay, now here's Ken's book.
That's amazing. Wow.
The Stumps, which Ken likes to. I'll say. Draw in the style of Edward Gorey, but he's got his own twist to it.
Man,
it was more of an Edward Gorey / Tim Burton-ish style.
Yes, there you go. That's very, very.
So this is great.
I love it. It's so good.
So this is a book coming out. Is it out already, Ken? What's it?
So it's coming out in February, March of next year. So this is actually the mock-up. This is not even the final book.
The Stumps of Flat Top Hill.
Yeah, the new cover is way better now.
So you wrote it, Ken?
Yes, I
And
wrote it,
illustrated.
and it's kind of a Edgar Allan Poe rhyming book.
Oh my gosh.
It's really cool.
Yeah. This is incredible.
So for the people listening, if they go to rabbleboy.com, can they see any of this on there?
Yeah.
Yeah, they'll see this up there. It's also I think on pre-order on Amazon now too. So
Wow.
Wow. Yeah, man. Congratulations. That's really cool, Ken.
yeah, I'm excited that it's finally out. It's been sitting for a while. So
And
Always drawn in a sort of style similar to this, or did you ever have a different style when you first started? Or
when I kind of restarted illustrating, this is pretty much the style that I settled into for this type of storytelling. Because I actually have like another story that uses this style. So I'm working on that right now.
oh, cool. And then do you use reference for your art?
Rarely.
Really?
Well,
Like that
maybe-
house? Like that? There was a picture of a house that I thought was so amazing. Scroll down. There's a picture of a house, and just like even like the little wood shingles and stuff. I would have to look at a picture to draw something like that.
Yeah, the only time they actually used references is for architectural stuff, but that one I did not use a reference.
Wow.
this one right here, Jim, is this one you
That's
have?
one of them, but it's the one before that too. Or down, if you go to scroll down. Which for the audio podcast is great, I'm sure.
This guy?
Yeah,
this one.
there's a picture of a house. That's amazing.
So we're looking at a really cool drawing for those of you that can't see this. And we think it's amazing.
Yeah, so Stevie Wonder, if you happen to be listening right now,
Stevie Wonder.
this
You're
is
seeing the exact same thing that everybody else.
Right.
There you go. We're all on the same page now. Not literally, but figuratively.
Yeah, this is great, Ken. I love this stuff. Cool.
Yeah, this one, the one that you were just on, is more of a Tim Burton, where Tim Burton would use more of a wide angle.
Mm-hmm. That's hard to do too. Drawing a fisheye lens is really hard to do.
Yeah.
Oh, this one?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, like the hallway curves right around.
Right.
And the
But
girls.
like even the little touches, like the wallpaper and stuff like that. That's so imaginative, and it adds so much.
Mm-hmm. I mean, lately I've been doing a lot of work digitally that now I'm looking at it, I'm like, wow, I actually did that using pen and paper.
Are you a big fan of the Haunted Mansion ride at Disneyland?
Oh, no, I have not tried that.
You've never been on the Haunted Mansion at Disneyland?
No.
We need to do a Kickstarter right now to get on the Haunted Mansion ride at Disneyland. It's basically this come to life. It's so cool.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah. Wow.
Now, in fact, talking about I think it would be really cool if the three of us could make a movie. If I could and I would animate it, so I would do all the work. But if I could just borrow, the two of you, your brain a little bit,
Yeah.
I could make it a great movie. I don't know what it would be about.
According to my wife, I don't always use mine, so yeah, you can borrow it.
I think you guys are both like sort of creative geniuses in your own rights. I really dig both of you guys' work. And Ken, what you were talking about being isolated, that's why I do this podcast.
Okay. Makes sense.
Paul's actually in a prison cell right now.
Yeah, I've been in here for years. And so...
You know what, too? And a lot of times through osmosis, a lot of times, I don't know if you can hear a helicopter passing over my house.
Yeah.
They're actually looking for me, but I'll turn the lights off.
You're associating with a felon.
So a lot of times through osmosis, networking happens. So like now I know Ken, my friends will know his stuff. So that's kind of cool. Who knows who you'll meet, through that, and that's how stuff ends up happening.
Yeah.
And I talked to Sean Seal the other day, and he said, hey, you know what? Just to be blunt, if you're into, and he was talking about comics, he said there's a pie out there, and if you want to compete for some of it, you're competing against other artists, and for those professionals, you're that put food on their table, because with this work, if you want to get some of this work, you got to take food off their table.
Now I want pie.
I know, but I don't necessarily agree with him on that. I say that I'm not a professional, but I think it's good to just build each other up. Meet other artists. I mean, I spend plenty of time being jealous of other artists, but then in the end, I just get inspired by them.
Yeah, you just got to do your own thing. That's all. You get inspired and you want to do the other person's thing, but in your own way.
Yeah, yeah. I just think it's there's nothing wrong with talking to other artists and promoting other artists. And helping out and introducing other people to. I mean, right. It's not gonna take away from me.
Plenty of room on the life raft.
Yeah. I mean, so.
Yeah.
I don't know what you think about that, Ken, but.
Yeah, I mean, I don't necessarily think that way when I'm creating. I think that's kind of more of maybe a negative way of looking at it. You just got to do what you do, man. You just got to keep working on it, and if people, it's kind of like an open market anyway. People will flock to whoever they like. You might be on top one day, you might not be on top the next day. It's all in the circle of life. So, but just at least for us, we do it because we like doing it. We don't have any ulterior motives, I guess. We just do it because we like it, and we feel creative. And you just doing this podcast and talking to so many different people and networking in a way is just it's quite admirable. And you're doing something good here, and being able to, and kind of like what we were talking about, if just sharing ideas, it makes everything richer. And you learn a lot of different things. The other artists will learn a lot of different things, and I think it all works out.
Yeah. I feel rich because of it. And my friend Todd.
Sometimes you're the lion, Paul. Sometimes you're the zebra.
That is funny. We use that same concept on one of the films that we were working on, The Lion and the Zebra.
Oh, so, really?
Paul's wearing stripes. I just want to point out.
Yeah, it's one of the scenes. I think it was a scene. It's a video on YouTube where the lion just goes down after the zebra and totally destroys it, basically. So, and there are videos of on YouTube as well where the zebra fights back and whomps on the lion. It was pretty entertaining as well.
Sometimes the animal plays dead and the lion looks away and then they're out of there. I don't know. I think the same type of mentality that there's not enough room for everybody and everybody's in competition with you and you can't associate with other artists. Those are the same people at the grocery store that run for the last can of tuna when it's on sale and push an old lady over. So it's like, I don't know, it's kind of silly. There's always, since caveman days, I'm sure somebody's been, this is my wall, don't ride on my rock,
Right.
Yeah.
There's always been that guy.
Well, that's funny. I actually have kind of something to that same vein of thought written on the whiteboard I have here, and it says basically, I think you probably guys heard about it. It says, great minds discuss ideas, average mind discuss events, and small minds discuss people.
There you go, yeah.
It's like, it's that same thing, right? So just got to think about your ideas.
You have a lava lamp in your back.
We both do.
And so does Paul.
Yeah.
I got to go get a lava lamp.
Yeah. I got that. My buddy who I worked with doing film, he started me with the whole lava lamp thing. He had one in his office. I'm like, I need to get one too. So,
I need to get one.
Hey,
sets the mood.
Ken, I wanted to share with you the story of the fashion comic book.
Oh, okay.
Written and illustrated by. Now, I didn't talk. We didn't talk about this on the podcast, right, Jim?
A little bit we did. I think we did a little bit
about the signing.
You got to put that online. by the way, Paul.
No,
I've not seen this. This is new, huh?
Yeah, this is it's written and illustrated by Paul Pate, and it's
That looks so
it's
cool.
a story about Steph and Ty and their fashion, and they're real people.
Okay.
And so Ty paid me to do this comic. He paid me a flat rate, and then he sells it. And when he sells one, he signs it.
Yeah. Nice.
And I was the first time I saw that, I'm like, I told my wife, "Hey, look at this.
Yeah.
Why is he signing it? What's that about?"
Who illustrated
He's a
it?
superhero.
It says right here that I wrote it and illustrated.
Right.
You know,
But if-
I was kind of like, "What's he doing?"
To be fair, if you did a book about the Incredible Hulk, and in real life the Incredible Hulk
Shows up.
Signed it, right? So, but you know, then I was like, whatever, I don't care. You know, he bought it; it's his book, and people like it. You know, he's a real dude.
That's cool.
Yeah, he's great. I love the guy. He's just nut. He's selling this book. It's a 12-page comic
Mm-hmm.
for $15.
Whoa.
And I mean, he's selling it. He's had like 3 or 4 runs of it.
He's selling for $15,
Wow.
Yeah,
and people are buying it.
yeah. Like
Wow.
my wife says, people hate money.
So he has a huge following then.
Yeah, one of the first things he told me was, "Yo, Paul, man, I've been in this game for a long time." That's the way he talks. He kind of talks like Tim Daddy over there, or Freak Daddy.
That's awesome.
Yeah, he's a super cool dude. And but what you're talking, something that you were talking about made me think of it. Think of him. One thing he told me was like, you know, "Hey man, if you've got my book, you know, my hats or the hats that his wife makes are not for everybody. The comic book is not for everybody, but there are people out there that, you know, there's a market for
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah.
You know, you just got to find it." So that was what he told me about the comic book. And sure as he told me, he said, "Paul, I don't have a lot of money, but I'll get your name out there." And so when he sells the comic book, the person who bought it takes a picture of their smiling face,
That's
holding
cool.
the comic book.
Yeah.
And he's got an album on Facebook of people all over the world going, "I got a Steph and Ty comic book."
That's
I mean,
awesome.
it's like Australia, all over Europe.
Wow.
And you want to sit on my lap, honey?
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. So anyway, there's a market out there for everybody. You know, it's I think you just got to do your thing. You know,
Mm-hmm.
do your thing, chicken wing.
Hello.
Speaking of do your thing,
This
you little girl.
is my producer, Julia.
Oh. Hello, Miss Producer.
Good job.
Hi.
Hi.
Yeah,
You can't hear. You can't hear.
I agree with what you said. It's like I think we talked about it before. There's some kind of theory about it online that I found. It's basically saying that if you can get 100 people to support you, I think the number is 100. 100 people who will buy your stuff, give you X amount of money every year, then I think you're set pretty much. You just got to get that number of people, you know.
100?
Like, I think that's the number. It's like if you put out, maybe I don't know if it's 100 or 1,000. It's actually a low number. It's like, okay, if I can get this X amount of people to consistently buy my stuff, it could be a CD or
Right.
whatever, a book or whatever. Every time you put out a book, these guys will give you money
Right.
for your stuff. Then that could be your career, and it's not even a crazy amount of people. It seems like I was thinking about. I was like, man, this is kind of doable.
Oh, really?
So, yeah, and it's I don't know if you guys have heard of that website Patreon.
Yeah.
I'm on it.
You're on it? Okay, there you go.
Paul's a supporter, aren't you?
Yeah. Yeah, I am.
And it's like I was looking at it, it's like, wow, this is kind of crazy. You know how people are supporting these artists, and
Well,
every month they're put out your stuff and
but
here's
see,
some money. And
Now,
so,
I have a theory about this. I had a guest on the podcast, Jim
Mm-hmm.
Brettney, and I agreed with him. I think you got to kind of have a following to have a kick.
Yeah, exactly.
You got to have a Kickstarter. You got to have at least a little bit of a following. Otherwise, you're asking your family and friends for money, which that's what bugged me about thinking about doing a Kickstarter. I'm not Jim Lujan, who's got 50 films out and has got a YouTube channel.
I'm not even Jim Lujan.
One day,
I was really
rise
hesitant
to the level.
I was hesitant and nervous about doing a Patreon. A lot of my friends set theirs up, and theirs were successful. And then I thought, well, you know what I can do? Because I was selling DVDs, and I was selling them really cheap. I was selling my DVDs for like $10, $12. And I thought, well, if I do a Patreon and 12 people give me $1 for every new cartoon I put out, that equals, like, in one instance, I will get the equivalent of selling a bunch of DVDs for every single cartoon. I thought, here's the problem where I shot myself in the foot. I didn't do a cartoon for like a year because I had another project.
Yeah, I know.
But now I'm starting to do them again, and I was thinking, man, I should have made I could have made my Patreon per month. Like a lot of people just have it per month.
Yeah.
I felt guilty because I didn't have new content every month, but if I don't know, it's been good. It's been really, really good.
I support 2 people on Patreon.
That's the other thing too. Yeah, as a Patreon or as a recipient, I support, like, there's like 5 or 6 people I give $1 to. So
I support Jim if he makes a film, which I haven't been very supportive because you took a long time off.
Yeah, but then I just made one and I got money for that. So thank you.
Yeah, but I also support Keith Knight.
Me too.
Yeah,
Keith is the one that actually the thing that convinced me to do it.
Oh,
yeah,
really?
I talked to him about it too.
He's freaking brilliant, man. I love that guy.
He's got a great following too. So
yeah, I just think he's the best cartoonist.
And he's in Revengeance too.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
Oh, how sweet, man. Cool. What is he? He's a voice in it?
Yeah, he plays the guy that works at a pawn shop, a guy named Slim. So he's like an old man with a cigarette hanging off his lip, and he's got a hat like yours, Paul.
Man. That dude is so cool. Yeah, I love his cartoons. I think he's brilliant.
Yeah, and he's kind of an anomaly because at least his amount of following and fans and people that support him, when you see him do something like a Kickstarter, or a Patreon, it like blows up and he gets like these huge numbers, and it's not like that for everybody,
that's what I mean. When he does a Kickstarter, he's got legitimate like fans.
Yeah, but he'll tell you. He'll be the first one to tell you. I've asked him, even with his level of fans, it's still, compared to a 9 to 5.
Yeah.
He's got to hustle. Keith has to hustle.
Oh yeah.
To make it just doesn't come to him like from magic. So
it's a lot of work. Yeah.
A lot of work. Yeah, and he doesn't get a day off. He has to consistently do that. But you know what though? He enjoys his work. So I feel like I'm his agent. And let me tell you something. He's not going to do it for less than 19% of gross profits. No. He enjoys his work, but he does have to hustle. That's the vibe that I really got from Keith from spending time with him. Is that he hustles. Yeah.
I bet.